Okay, everybody, we're going to go ahead and get started. It's 4 o'clock. I would now like to call to order the May 20th meeting of the Downtown Design Review Board. We'll do introductions, starting with Rick, please.
Rick Blackburn, Historic Zoning Commission.
Cameron Boland, AIA Representative.
Tony Allen, Downtown Development Representative.
Lisa Sear Burnett, Business Development Representative.
Push the wrong button.
Laura Wen, Downtown Resident Representative.
Jared Worsham, Downtown Resident Representative.
Suzanne Taravella, Neighborhood Representative.
Dallas DeArmond, Knoxville, Knox County Planning.
Sarah Martin, Urban Design Representative.
Mike Reynolds, Knoxville, Knox County Planning.
Melinda Woolert, Knoxville, Knox County Planning.
Samuel Hawk, Knoxville, Knox County Planning.
Christina McGrawn's Tillery, City Law Department.
Mark Reel, City of Knoxville Plans Review and Inspections.
Thanks, everybody. The minutes of the April 15th meeting are in our agenda packet, and after everyone's had a chance to look over those, we'll entertain a motion to accept.
Yeah, I motion to accept.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that one carries. We'll move on. Should we do the postponements now? Okay. We have a couple of postponements that we need to vote on. The first one is 12E25IH and 2A26IH. They have both requested a 30-day postponement. And we need a motion to accept the postponement.
I'll make a motion to postpone 12E25IH and 2A26IH for 30 days.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that one carries. We'll move on to the staff report.
Since the last meeting, we had one level 1 approval in infill housing for changes to a front porch. This was an after-the-fact review. They removed sections of the brick foundation, replaced it with CMU, replaced the railing, made some modifications to the porch columns as well, and rebuilt the steps. And so they plan to add stucco to all of the foundation area, and they may also add that stucco up to the posts themselves.
The porch posts?
To the brick bases of the porch posts.
Gotcha. Oh, okay. Thank
Yeah,
you.
not the whole post.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you. Is there anything else to review on that? That's it. Okay. Then we will move on to our certificates of appropriateness. And the first one is...
Real quick, Suzanne, I need to recuse myself from 5C26IH, which is later on.
Thank you. Okay, so next we'll do 620 State Street, which is number 95IF006. Oh, that's the parcel, I'm sorry. The case number is 5A26DT.
Okay, thank you. This is just two monument signs that's requested for First Presbyterian Church. One of them, the main sign, will be just to the right of their main entrance stairs from State Street. The other sign is more of a secondary sign, and it's smaller, at the intersection of State Street and Clinch. I think it's Clinch. So going on to the main sign. This is about a 24 square foot sign. It's non-illuminated. It only has one face, so it's parallel to the road, and it sits within a landscaping area. So again, the one on top is the secondary sign. We can kind of move to the next slide, and you see this in a bit clearer. So on the bottom right-hand corner is the main sign. That's the larger one. The other one is by the cemetery. Something with that sign, they're going to have to still work through some design and placement things, but the sign itself size-wise seems appropriate. Something to note, the property is in the downtown grid district. The guidelines don't recognize monument signs as a type of sign. It only speaks to like wall signs and hanging signs and that kind of thing. But the board can still approve monument signs if they feel it's appropriate for the location and the design and whatnot. So obviously the main sign, the bigger one next to the entrance in the landscape area, that one's a little more straightforward. It does have brick columns on both sides. So the 24 square feet is just the sign area itself. It's a little bit wider than that and bigger if you include the columns. Same thing with the other sign. That one's only about 6 square feet. So the actual sign area is pretty small on the secondary sign. So staff is recommending approval, subject to 4 conditions. Meeting all the requirements of city engineering for the placement of the monument sign at the intersection of State Street and Clinch. That's kind of a sight distance thing. They need to make sure that sign's far enough from the road that they're not blocking sight distance for people coming up the hill. Number 2, obtaining necessary variances from the Board of Zoning Appeals if the secondary sign at the intersection of State Street and Clinch Avenue cannot maintain a 10-foot setback from the right-of-way. So that's the minimum requirement for monument signs. There's 2 different standards. One is 15 feet from the pavement surface, the other one being 10 feet from the front property line, whichever is greater. Most times it's the 10 feet from the property line. Number 3, providing a 10-foot non-disturbance buffer around the perimeter of grave sites per the Tennessee Code. I just threw that out there because I'm familiar with the Tennessee Code in this regard. I don't know how it relates to a sign type like this. So if Tennessee Code really doesn't apply to them, they're fine. But the main thing is just maintaining proper distance away from grave sites. They are on the outside of the fence, as far as anyone knows. There's no grave sites out there, so it shouldn't be an issue from that perspective. Number 4, meeting all applicable requirements of the sign code. Happy to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you. The applicant is not present, is that true? Okay.
I'm here.
Okay,
I'm on a Zoom call, though.
Can you give us your name and address, please?
Yes, Baker Jones, 2313 Craig Cove Road. That's Knoxville.
Thank you. Do you have anything to add to Mike's comments?
No, I think he pretty much covered it.
Great, thank you. We'll open it up for board discussion.
There's a if you go down down Clench, there's multiple other signage types as you go around the building. I think like what you're proposing is elegant and looks nice, and I think is fine. I'm just thinking about like this project's peppered with different signage all over it, I guess, of different times. Is there in aggregate signage issue with them adding yet more signage with these 2 proposed today?
I might look to Mark Real on this, but I think detached signs like this have their own separate allotment of sign area versus wall signs.
Yeah, that's correct. So the detached signage, you're allowed 1 per street, up to 2 if you have multiple street frontages. And then the attached signage is just based on the primary building elevation.
Is the corner sign at an angle? It's not parallel with the street like the larger one? Is it at 45 degrees or is it specified anywhere which angle it's at?
It's going to be angled with the fence line, which is I don't know if it's exactly 45, but yes, it's at an angle kind of towards that intersection.
Okay, so it'll be parallel with the existing fence.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, I think my only concern with that one on the corner is just sight visibility, because if you're coming up, I believe you would be coming up Clinch. There's not a stop sign if you're coming up that hill, so the people stopping at State would be looking right for oncoming traffic. So does that being angled in kind of in alignment with the fence, does that help with the visibility?
Yes, I mean, if you visit this site, I really think it's well backed where you're going to have plenty of visibility. This photo doesn't really do it very much justice. It seems like it's a lot closer, I feel like, than it is. I don't think where I have this located and where I have it rendered is right at about 10 feet from the property line. And so I think there's plenty of visibility at this corner.
The signs that are on the building, like the more historic ones that say First Presbyterian along the street, like the smaller placard signs, like that, those look like bronze or something similar. What's the material going to be for the actual signage portion aside from the brick?
This is a cast bronze plaque as well.
It's bronze. Okay. Just for my curiosity, did they let you know why they wanted to add more signage? Are they just feeling unseen?
The corner sign, they feel like they want that to be represented as their property, the cemetery,
Okay.
and let people know that that's kind of part of their church.
Mhm.
And then they don't really have, kind of as discussed, they had a couple building plaques around the other side of the building, but they don't really have like a main monument structure or detached ground sign. And so that's what that primary sign is going to represent there by their steps.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I think that's nice that you're not trying to attach them to the building. The yard mounted is a lot, historically sensitive, so that's great. I'd motion to accept per staff recommendations unless anyone else has comments.
We have a motion. Does anybody have a second?
I second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that one carries. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Next up, we have 607 Market Street, which is 5B26DT.
Okay, so this is technically a renovation of an existing structure from an exterior standpoint, but the work is pretty minor. The building itself will essentially stay the same. What they're proposing is some rooftop decks on the roof of the one-story commercial or ground floor space. So, and they're set back adjacent to the tower. So there's 4 roof decks. They're set back pretty far on that first story roof. That really won't be visible from the road at all. Other than that, there's 2 other items, primary items. He's changing out the louvers on the upper floor with actual window systems, storefront systems, and then on the rear side of the building, changing out a delivery kind of door to be an access door for people. So, I'll show that in a little more detail. Again, these are the 4, in red are the 4 rooftop decks. They're metal railing and wood tile system for the floor. For the changing out of the louvers, they're trying to match the window tint as closely as possible. So it's kind of what they're showing from that they've done studies. They went out and tried to match it as close as possible. So it will be in kind replacement with new windows on the upper level. And then this is that service door. They're going to cut out the bottom of it so that the doors actually access at grade. And then they're going to use a metal panel fill on top of the doors. So it's really our service doors still. They're not, they appear to be metal, they're metal doors, so they're really the service areas. So they do mention new glass in the upper story windows on the same elevation. I guess they might be able to clarify. They're not creating any new window openings. They might just be changing out windows, but they might want to just clarify if that's truly the case. There's many more slides that I can show, but really that's the gist of this request. Staff is recommending approval as they submitted.
Thanks, Mike. Is the applicant present?
There's a button on there, little person, if you'll press that.
If you could give us your name and address, please.
Patrick Core with Design Innovation Architects, 402 South Gay Street.
Great, thank you. Do you have anything to add to Mike's comments?
Sure. No changes to the ground level. That all remains the same. And one thing to point out is the mullions will remain, and it's just the glass that's being replaced. And that's for thermal efficiency, as well as the fact that some of them are in a deteriorating shape after being 25 years old or so.
And that's on that back elevation, those single windows. That were
The punched windows
Yep.
on the you see on the south.
Yep.
We did like Mike mentioned, we did a study of the glass, and we got a sample of it and took it up to the roof, and it looks pretty much identical. We did the same thing with metal panel sample as well, just in case we need that for any trim. So it should look identical once we're done replacing the windows. Also to note, if there's any new mechanical units on the second story roof, those will not be visible as well. We'll set those back away from the parapet. Same for the high roof as well.
Just out of curiosity, is the upper level becoming occupied space and the mechanical space is going away?
Yes.
Okay.
Currently, it's a mechanical room, and it will be units up there.
Great. Thank you.
There's notes on your perspective pictures, like that says existing glass to be replaced with new similar glass, and it's like the entirety of the facade. I feel like I've heard certain windows are going to be replaced, and then these two notes make it seem like it's all of the glass is being replaced. Which one is it?
All the glass will be replaced. The mullions,
Every window.
the mullions will remain.
Great. Existing glass to be replaced and with new similar glass. Okay, so similar is vague, so you're proposing the replacement with vitro, solar band, clear and clear?
That's
Okay.
a picture of it there.
And is that similar? Because it looks like what's there currently is like mirrored almost, but you guys are actually putting it in clear glass.
Yeah, we did a mock-up of it, and it's indistinguishable.
Okay.
So that's a little plywood box that we built, and there's a white and a black background to it that simulates both blinds and no blinds. And then we looked at it in sunlight as well as shade on various sides of the building. It was indistinguishable. We had several samples, and that was the one that performs the best as well as looks nearly identical.
Okay.
Are these better performing windows? What was some of them are deteriorating. Can you describe what that deterioration was?
The gasket between the panes of glass was failing, so you could see it going like this.
Oh, I see.
And the argon in between the glasses leaked out.
Got it. Okay.
So it's a better performing glass than what's existing.
And it has a tinting on it. It does look very similar. I'm just curious. It'll be the same exact tint.
Yeah.
That's what I'm getting hung up on. We're saying tinting, but we've got one example that says clear and clear. So is it tinted or is it clear, the glass? Or is there both versions of it in the project?
There's only one type of glass, and it's the clear glass.
Clear.
Yeah.
And in the pictures, it looks tinted. So it's not tinted. That just happens to be, like if you go to one of the pictures with the notes of the, keep going, please. Yeah, that one. Some of those look tinted, or is that just ones that have like curtains behind them? That's why it has like kind of a tinted view.
Yeah.
I'd rather it not be tinted. I'm glad it's all clear. I'm just trying to clarify.
Yeah.
So no tinted, not being tinted isn't being replaced with tinted. Clear is being replaced with clear. All the glass because it's more energy efficient, and some are failing. That's all thumbs up in my book.
Yep.
So
It should be 1-to-1, and it should look exactly the same.
great.
Do we have a motion or any other comments?
I'll motion to approve per staff recommendation.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, that one carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up, we have 530 South Gay Street, which is case 5C26DT.
Okay, so this is a rooftop project at the Hyatt Place. The roof deck is not being expanded. What they're requesting is a roof over the front portion of their rooftop deck. Currently, if you can see in some of the images, they have posts that stick up off from their railings that hold lights. Their roof will be essentially that same height as those existing posts where those string lights are. It's just a simple metal system, metal posts. That won't, it's not integrating, into the historic structure itself. It's obviously, structurally fastened down, but it's not. They're not having to modify the historic structure to install this. It will maintain the same setback that the current railing does. It will still include some minor visibility from the Gay Street elevation as the current kind of setup does with the lights. It will still be marginal when you're looking directly across the street. Obviously, the further away you go, you'll be able to see it more, but that's kind of the way it works with everything on a rooftop. They will remove an existing smaller structure, roof structure that's attached to the, I guess it's a mechanical area, I think, or service area, but they're also proposing like blinds that will come down, screens that can retract. So if you see in this image, you can see like the red line of where the canopy will be visible from different angles on Gay Street. From Clinch, obviously that right of way is so narrow, you really won't see it from that side at all. Yeah, so this shows the existing condition on the right when you're up on the rooftop. They will, and maybe they can speak to the lighting a little bit more. Currently, those lights do string, at the edge of the railing or where the rooftop deck is. I think they intend to kind of pull that lighting back a little bit so it's not quite as visible from that perspective. You're not seeing like the lights as much directly from below. So the staff recommendation is to approve as submitted.
Thanks, Mike. Is the applicant present for this one? Just for clarity, if you could give us your name and address again, please.
Yes, Patrick Core with Design Innovation Architects, 402 South Gay Street.
Great, thank you. Do you have anything to add to Mike's comments?
I think operationally, the reason why this project is proposed is because this side of the roof gets a lot of sun exposure and wind exposure. And if you go back one image, I believe, forward then. So you see this picture at the top right. That's a good example of what the owner would like to achieve. It's about 15 feet wide. There's tables and chairs, as well as a sunscreen there. So in the plan, that's a very similar sort of setup. And operationally, it makes this side of the rooftop much more usable.
Great, thank you. We'll open it up to board discussion.
What's the exposed material on the underside?
It's metal deck.
Okay, what color?
It would be painted white to minimize visibility.
Okay, that's what I'm getting at. Yeah, the view up that is transparent will be opaque. So we'll see white on the underside from the street. And then the frame itself, the posts and the, I guess, structure will be black?
That's kind of in keeping with the other elements on top of the rooftop.
And just so I understand, the posts are existing to remain?
That is correct.
And those, when you add the structure to it, you were talking about wind, like those don't have to be re-engineered for any sort of uplift or anything from the wind?
There'll be some additional structural work done to them, but materially they will stay pretty.
They won't get beefier or anything like that. It's about the base plate condition to the roof. Okay.
A plan.
Yeah.
The plan is to keep them as similar as possible.
Okay.
What will the lighting condition be like on the underside? Will it have uplighting on that soffit, or will it all be down lighting?
Plan would be to move the string lights back away from the railing and then put them further closer to the interior part of the building.
Oh, I see. That's the inspiration image, or is that?
That's correct, yeah.
Okay, but you'll do something similar to that, but on the bay inbound of the facade? Okay.
Yeah.
So there won't be any lighting on that outer bay?
That's correct.
Okay.
Have any other comments? Otherwise, we will entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve based on staff recommendation.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Any opposed? Okay, that one carries. Thank
All
you.
right, thank you.
Next up, we have 935 World's Fair Park Drive, which is case 5E26DT.
Okay, so this is a bit unique. We don't see too many of these, but this is actually a public building, and so the board has to make recommendations to all improvements and to existing public buildings and also new ones and other types of public improvements like streetscapes and that kind of thing. So you're not technically approving what's being proposed, you're providing a recommendation to the city and city council as to whether or not you feel that this is appropriate or maybe suggest changes. So all this project is doing, the scope of work is essentially replacing like the window system here. So like the roof, the size, like nothing's changing with the size of the structure. They're just changing the doors and the windows along it. So ultimately, the design will look very similar to what you see today. A couple of things, it's kind of hard to see in this street view image. There's the main like multi-doors that you see right in front of you, and then just to the left, there's a couple of single doors that those like single type doors will go away. They're not going to retain those. And in the multi-door areas, like the width of all the doors kind of shrinks a little bit, but there's still multiple entrance doors in one grouping. So the groupings where they are located today are going to remain in the same location. They're just, they're, I guess, improving how the whole system works. So ultimately, the system will be fairly similar to what you see today. There is a horizontal band that shows up on the ground floor windows. It seems to align with a railing height. There's probably a railing on the back side of that. In the current windows, they don't have it. So I'm assuming that is intended to actually be a horizontal member in the window itself and not representing an actual something behind the glass. On the only other change is on the very north side of this. There's folding doors on the basically facing L&N, so it's on the north elevation. It's more of a service entrance, so the folding doors will open up so they can bring in larger materials. There's already something similar to that there today. It's just not the same system, but that's what they're doing there. But staff's recommendation is to recommend the exterior renovations of the World's Fair Exhibit Hall as being implemented as presented.
Thank you. Is there an applicant for this? Can you give us your name and address, please?
Thought I hit it. Jennifer Bradley, architect with McCarty House up on McCarty, 625 North Broadway.
Great, thank you. Do you have anything to add to Mike's comments?
Yes, we dispensed with the scattered single doors and realigned the openings with the interior openings to the exhibit hall. We're replacing this in general because of energy cost. I mean, the windows are original to the World's Fair era, so these will actually be much better. They're Conair 451 tri-fab. There are no ADA entries currently or not enough, not 60%. So all of them will align with the interior exhibition halls, and there will be 60% ADA entries. The north entrance, currently right now, they have two large swing doors, but it's designed to have a vehicle go in if it's needed. And so the folding door will be much easier to operate on a day-to-day basis. But for the most part, the feeling that you get when you look at it should be very much the same, except for a little bit of a glow up, and it will have continuity with the Maker Exchange that it runs right next to.
Great. So the design intent overall is not changing. It's more like a maintenance project.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is the glass above the beam remaining?
No, it's also being, oh no, yes, it is. It's remaining.
And is that, I mean, is that actually have a face frame, or is that just butt jointed into the concrete or whatever that?
It's a beam. It's an HSS member. It is, it's just attached into that.
But is the glass have a frame though?
Yes, the glass does have a frame.
And the new glass you guys are introducing will match the frame above?
Yes, it's all going to be
Existing?
black storefront.
Okay. And is there any concern that the old black storefront, over the years it's been there and faded black, will not match? Are you guys going to paint the upper? Is there anything like that
I
that
think
you've
that's
studied?
more of a call that we're going to have to make during CA, but
Yeah.
yes, the intent is to make them match. So if
monolithic.
that needs to happen, that will occur.
Yeah, okay.
What's the distance between, so the doors on the left side and the doors on the right side, what's the distance between those two sets?
I actually can't read my own dimensions from here. Let
Is
me
it
get a
what,
little
that-
closer.
About 90 feet.
90 feet,
90,
okay.
102.
102? Okay. This might not be relevant, but isn't it something like 50 feet? I don't know. Isn't it like every 50 feet we have to have like there's an entrance or something? Or is that, again, not relevant for this?
It's typically 1/3 of the largest diagonal of the space.
Yeah,
He's talking about guidelines.
yeah, it's you're talking about
Yeah.
design standards in the DK zone. It depends on the, like, this is the DKB zone, I think. But even then, it's only applied to elevations facing a public street. But I don't think it, Mark, does it apply in this zone anyways?
I think it's just for new construction.
That's right. Yes, for new construction, this would not apply here, the design standards.
Okay. I was just curious on that one.
So we're not going to do a motion and approval today because that's just not the format for this kind of project. But
Yeah, you still make a motion.
a motion
and
to recommend,
Yeah.
either based on staff comment or our own comments. Yeah. Okay.
The only thing I would add, Jennifer, is if your client is going to spend all the money for that massive amount of glass, if they consider replacing the upper transom for the same reason of the energy efficiency, it's not a requirement. I'm just saying, if that is a discussion point, that would be a preference. Just if it's in the spirit of energy upgrades, then the upper band also is antiquated as well. So
Right. The existing storefront that's at grade is also falling apart, which is the biggest driver of its replacement.
Just a quick clarification, Article 16.5D does say that these projects have to be submitted to the Design Review Board for approval, and then a report is sent to the mayor and city council.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you for clarifying. So we are going to do a motion about whether or not we're going to approve.
Was there any consideration, you mentioned the Maker Exchange being immediately adjacent. The entrances for the Maker Exchange look like they've got kind of a awning over them. Was there any thought to maybe include that in this as well?
We did not want to deviate from the existing look of the exhibition hall. It is not historic, but it is still significant.
Okay.
Our idea of using the same storefront with the same style doors, the same style width, was like enough of a continuity we felt with the Maker Exchange. Also, with the existing columns, you would find it'd be certainly not impossible, but like, where would you break that awning? How would you deal with that structure? Because all of those existing columns are
Yeah,
very
it looks like
close.
on the ones on Maker Exchange, I'm just looking at like a Google Maps, like Street View. They're pretty minimal. It's not anything like very expansive. It's just immediately above those doors. So, yeah, it's just As we're talking about just recommendations and thoughts around the project.
Are there existing mullions, the ones that align with the upper mullions, are they thicker or are they all the exact same consistent mullion?
They are all the same consistent.
Okay. And you're just replacing them in kind?
If there are no other comments, we'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve based on staff recommendation.
second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Thank you. Goes. Thank you. Okay, next up, we have 802 South Central Street, which is case 5D26DT.
This request is for a new 5-story mixed-use structure along South Central Street. The parcel abuts James White Parkway right-of-way on the east and south sides. The 5-story building includes 4 floors of office space and 2 dwelling units on the top floor with a shared lobby on the ground floor. There will be no on-site parking areas. On the aerial image, you can see an existing 1-story building and a surface parking on the side, which is, yes. There is another 1-story structure to the north. A portion of the state right-of-way to the south is being used as surface parking. There are KOB power lines running at varying heights above the sidewalk in front of the property. KOB requires a horizontal clearance of 7 feet 6 inch between its power line and building. Here you can see the conceptual illustration of this 5-story structure. The applicant has provided a demo plan. They will remove the existing curb cut along the front and install new sidewalks. There is an existing driveway within a 17 feet wide access easement on the northern property that will remain unchanged, but no connection is provided to that northern driveway. The building footprint starts at the front property line, which meets the 0 to 5 feet build-to-zone requirement and 80% build-to percentage requirement of the DKG district. To meet KOB's clearance requirement, the applicant intends to relocate the power lines underground. And this is important because if the relocation becomes cost prohibitive or otherwise infeasible, they would have to come back to the board for the new front setback. Pedestrian access is provided from Central Street to the main lobby. There are 2 additional pedestrian access from the street on the emergency stairwell at both sides of the building. On the landscape plan, you can see the applicant has provided some evergreen shrub. Large trees are not feasible within the 5 feet space between the front property line and the front building line because it is covered by overhangs. As mentioned before, the ground floor include a common lobby for the office space and the residential unit. The top floor includes 2 residential units with individual balconies. One balcony is in the middle of on the west elevation of the property, and the other one is at the corner. The building features gray metal panels, off-white bricks, and aluminum window frames as the primary materials. Wood-style metal cladding is proposed as the secondary material, which is allowed up to 25% of a facade facing the street. You'll notice that the exterior walls on both sides of the stairwell feature the same arched design, but no windows are proposed on the north elevation of the stairwell. This is because there are minimal setback from the northern property line. This slide shows the proposed materials. The board should discuss the proposed wood-style metal claddings and material transition at the corners, as well as the metal balcony railings, which are 3 feet and 6 inch tall, but overall they are 4 feet tall. The applicant intends to use machine roomlets or MRL elevator, which does not require mechanical penthouse. The board should also discuss the scenario in which the elevator becomes infeasible. The machine roomless elevator becomes infeasible, and given that a tall penthouse will likely be visible from the James White bike ramp onto State Street or Main Street. There is an additional slide about some details of the materials the applicant has provided. This is just for discussion. Overall, staff recommends approval with 5 conditions listed in here. The biggest one is that if the build-to-zone or build-to-zone percentage require any modification, they need to come back to the board.
Okay, thank you, Samuel. Can you give us your name and address, please?
Logan Higgins, 133 South Gay Street.
Do you have comments to add to Samuel's comments?
Not really. We're okay with the staff recommendation.
Great, thank you. Then we'll open it up for board discussion.
I'll just say I won't approve a wood look metal. I think metal panel is one discussion, but the wood look metal, I personally won't. That doesn't speak for the board, but I think it can be an earth tone, a color, maybe something like that, and still pull off the design intent. But I don't want to see wood look anymore in downtown.
Is there a proposed location or a requirement for a ground-mounted transformer because of the power line relocation?
No, that's something that we would figure out with KB.
Okay. So I think we just need to be aware of where that might go and whether or not it's on the public way. I think for KUB access, it probably has to be, so we just want to be intentional about where that goes.
Logan, talk about that east facade. Are we going to have, what's the word I'm looking for? In between the floor plates and the glass. Spandrel, shadow boxes.
That's the staircase. So,
Oh.
or I'm sorry.
Oh, no.
Which,
The
you
east
mean
facade.
east facade?
Yeah,
Yeah,
all the
okay.
glass. Yeah.
Yeah, that's storefront. So it's in front of the floor plate. The horizontal, that's not transparent on those little squares.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at. So there's going to be the horizontal spandrel or shadow box, whatever you have to do to break that up.
Cameron, is your opposition to the wood personal opinion or based on guideline?
It is Cameron's personal opinion.
If I could speak to that for a second, I don't know if this will affect your personal opinion, but I happened to be walking by a project downtown that used a wood-like, and I didn't like it. I didn't like that the pattern repeated. It was very clear. And then there's others that I've seen that use larger spans that you can see the pattern repeating. You can see the wood or the metal kind of like bending and everything. The reason I wanted to throw in, and I appreciate you all putting this on, this is a project that is under construction, one of ours right now, that uses the wood styled metal panels. The wood grain is very fine, and so it's more of just a texture to the panel, mainly just because I think a solid, I've seen applications where a solid tone panel looks more like a bad representation of wood. And so I do like that this product uses this fine grain. The pattern doesn't repeat. It's a unique pattern. And I have some samples. It's also a very thick metal. And so it doesn't.
I think for the sake of discussion and moving the discussion forward, it's helpful to have this detail, and it's more detail than we usually get from a lot of applicants. I don't want to speak for Cameron, but I think it's a authenticity of materials issue and less of a what it actually looks like issue. So.
That's a good point.
I think there are two that match this. Yeah, I think this is what's on the picture. This is another walnut, but the walnut actually has a larger frame than what we planned on. Thank you.
I don't want to get hung up on this one topic. Are there other questions or comments related to the design overall?
I mean, the curves and everything are, atypical, but it also not dictating design in that way. It's, I am personally excited to see housing, because that's what it is, housing, right? It's residential units.
No, it's
all
office.
Well,
There's
how about
two
this?
units. There are two residential.
I'm excited to see development on that side of downtown, which is somewhat had its back turned on it on Central for a long time. So it's exciting that you or whoever you're working with sees there's opportunity there. So I was glad to see the project on that side of town.
How old is this metal product? Are there examples where it's stood up to the test of time?
Yeah, we've seen other projects, like we haven't used it on projects that have, that are very old, but yeah, we have, from the suppliers that is supplying it, they have examples of older ones that have held up very well.
Is it brick or is it thin brick that you do have?
Regular brick.
Are you worried about that highway facing white over time getting pretty ugly? I mean, it could, and so could the glass.
Yeah. I don't know, this wasn't really included in there, but we have looked at it as kind of like a bit more of a glazed brick, but that's not something that we've like landed on. My thinking is that that would be cleaned with the windows, especially since it's such a small portion of brick. So.
And that 802 South Central is not, we're not reviewing that today. That's just we're not reviewing signage today.
Correct, yeah. Separate application.
What is the storefront material? Or what color?
The frame is black aluminum,
Okay.
and the glass is glass.
With the glasses, we talked about this with an earlier submission. Is there any intention to do like tint, or what's that gonna be?
Not overly tinted, reflect like what you see on some of these others that are like almost mirror-like. The tint that comes with the windows that we're looking at is just enough to get the SHGC requirements, so it not overly tinted.
And the spandrel panels are glass, spandrel glass? Or what is the material of the spandrel?
Yes, yeah, it will be with a backing behind it.
Do you know what color that's going to be?
That would be a black, so that it's just more of a reflection.
Mm-hmm.
Logan, how are you going to handle roof screen on that?
Behind the parapet?
Yeah. Will it be visible, or will the parapet be behind?
It shouldn't be. The parapet is about 3 to 4 feet, depending on the roof pitch or where you are on the roof. So the only people that should be able to see any of the things on the roof would be if they're up in another building.
What's the construction you're using? Because you've got the block exposed at the base. Is this wood framed?
Yeah.
And cementitious cladding, is that stucco, or what are you trying to put on the block?
A high density fiber panel.
Okay.
Did you consider doing brick all the way to the ground foundation?
Yeah, we went back and forth on that. I didn't like the look of having like the ledge of the brick, because that foundation wall is going to be aligned with the structure above. But I'm open to that. Like, I don't have anything against that as a base.
I think to your point, I would agree with that it'd look more of a commercial building without the block exposed at the bottom. I mean, maybe when it's cement, but I think it seemed more in kind to downtown to have the brick, but it's also white brick. So how it touches the ground and the landscaping is going to have to be important too, so it doesn't get really dirty.
Well, the brick proposed above is white, but that doesn't mean that the base has to be white.
And our thinking was just kind of, we'll have this slab, it'll be monolithic with those walls and everything. So it's not, it shouldn't be CMU block, it should be poured in place concrete. And so that acts as kind of a base for the structure.
So the gray we're seeing is poured concrete
Correct.
that's going to be left exposed.
Yes.
Okay. So where is the fiberboard?
That's the black.
Oh, okay.
No, that's metal panel, I thought. Black.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We were talking about the base of the building.
The base of the building is poured concrete.
Found CMU foundation covered with exterior concrete finish.
Yeah. So
What is that?
Is that like parch
that's
coat?
me getting confused. I think we had at one point talked about doing, yes, a CMU with parch coat. Fine with either scenario. And then for the black, I was thinking, again, this is carryover from a different evolutions of this project. We had talked about a high density fiberboard. And so that is also planned to be metal panels.
So what we're reviewing here today is that the dark is metal panel.
Yes.
And the base is parch coated.
Yes, and but we're okay
Or
with
poured.
We can
Okay,
do
so
that as poured.
just to clarify, for in the future, we need to know exactly what we're discussing and voting on. That's really important. So I just want to clarify for this discussion here today, there's no fiber cement or fiberboard on this building, and you're okay with the condition being that the base is poured.
Correct.
Thank you.
Are the balconies wood raised floor systems? Is that what's shown in brown in the bird's eye? The floor material?
Yes. Yeah, we and I didn't put a ton of thought into that just because of the lack of visibility from the street.
Yeah.
But we have thought about either doing it as raised, like you mentioned, or doing a thin concrete over it.
Yeah, and I get it. It's not visible. It's because I can see it there is what I'm asking. And your soffit is wood. Is it actual wood? Wood soffit panel?
No, that should be wood style as well.
To match the metal?
Wood style metal, yeah.
Okay.
Same metal.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, do we have any other comments? And if not, we'll entertain a motion.
I don't personally think that we need any more wood look materials in downtown.
You say why?
Because it doesn't look like anything I've seen in downtown currently. I don't feel like it's something that's going to age well when it does sit out in the sun, or just, over time. But it's very foreign to Knoxville, and at least currently that I perceive. But I'd love it if you have a different opinion, let's talk about it.
I think, and I'm speaking for myself and not the board, that when things are artificially made to look like something else, I think on the best of intentions, it's trying to look warm and cozy, and metal is inherently not warm and cozy. And that can be achieved with color that's pure and authentic. And so I think that it's uncomfortable to have products that are one thing and try to look like another thing. And I think that it gives an uncomfortable experience especially when you're in an urban context, because I think it's important to know what you're looking at.
Where is this material located on the building?
The brown stripes.
So what, second floor and above?
All the way down to the ground.
Because I would contend that, beyond a certain height, I don't think the human eye could tell the difference on a metal panel or a wood panel.
Which is what we talked about, the hotel going next to the Daylight building. for multiple reviews. I mean, I was in Nashville recently and saw a really nice multifamily project that had a wood tone metal that was solid, and it looked really sharp, and I took a lot of photos of it as an example. So if we ever were to plug that into future guideline updates or anything like that, I'll send that to you. But I do think that with fenestration, like the actual, gaps and everything between the metal, you can give it a bit of a texture and use a warmer metal, and that be, I think that could look okay. But I think I'd prefer that as a board member as opposed to the wood look. That's my opinion.
But I think we need to vote based on what's in the guideline.
Yep.
That's our responsibility.
Well,
Yes.
in the guideline, but also then left to our interpretation. So yeah, metal panel can be on our buildings, but just, I'm saying metal panel that's not wood look. And that can be overruled.
Can you go back to the staff recommendation, please, just so we have that for reference?
Logan, what's your response to that? Do you have an alternative? Even though you're not required.
Right, yeah. I do think that I would like to see examples of solid panel with the, or solid color. Kind of what I was hoping to get across with that one slide is, even though it is wood grain pattern, I view that more, especially with the fine pattern, it's not meant to be perceived as a wood grain necessarily. It's more just to give it a texture, and that way as it ages, there's I shouldn't say texture, but a pattern that as it gets dirty or ages, it's not going on to something that is just solid. It's going on to something that has more grain to it. And I would contrast that to what you see with like the hardy board panels that are wood textured, that they have the grain oversized so that from a distance you read it as if it's wood grain. I definitely don't want that. Like from the interstate, you're not going to see wood grain on this. You're going to see a warm brown tone on it, or from James White, I should say. But driving by, you're not going to perceive that wood grain because of the fineness of that.
To Suzanne's earlier point, you can do it through color and texture.
Can you turn on your microphone?
To Suzanne's earlier point, you can do it through color and texture, but I don't want us to require you to make a compromise that you don't have to.
So just for board guidance, Dallas was helpful enough to bring this up. In the guidelines, new building materials should relate to the scale, durability, color, and texture of the predominant building materials in the area. And that can be open to your own personal interpretation of that statement.
I appreciate that you brought the product in, and it felt quite impressive. And I see an advantage to the graining in terms of weathering, because if it was monochromatic, you'd be more inclined to see staining and weathering effects on it. I do tend to agree with Cameron on fake stuff never holds up looking fake for too long. But this is it's an impressively durable seeming product, and with the fineness of grain, I believe you're more achieving texture to the appearance than pretending until you get close. When we get right up to it, it's pretending to be wood. So I'm torn on that one, but I appreciate you bringing the product, and it looks fairly impressive.
I agree wholeheartedly with Perry's comments. I feel like, the thin grain, like you said, you can't tell from far away. I like the material, or the color palette that you've shown in your renderings. I do equally share the uneasiness with mimicking materials rather than having an authentic one. But I think in this case, as long as you're going with a really tight grain, I would support this proposal.
But there's even metal panels that you can get that have grain built into them, and patina and texture and not grain. I'm not going to, I'll vote the way I vote, but I don't think that it's, I think I agree, the palette's nice, like all the examples are nice. Like I get the warm texture and you have the curves and there's like a style you're going for. I think that it can be done with just a metal panel system. And I think there's metal panel systems that even just come with the same printed texture, like that's printed, it looks fake. You can get something that has that more, and I think the term was, it'll be monolithic, but if we're talking about zoomed out, this entire discussion is monolithic, just, in nature. I'm going to squint my eyes and see brownish, a warm brick, or like a lighter brick, and then the dark metal, and that's the goal. And that goal can be achieved with just a metal panel that doesn't try to look like wood. 'Cause then it's like, okay, if we want wood, then just do wood, and then we're going to say wood can't last, so we're going to put fake wood. And we had the same conversations 10 times, but I don't think that fake wood is the right answer for the project.
If I could maybe add a thought, I would, the paint color is not part of the guideline requirements. Am I remembering that correct? We would love to explore other ways of achieving what we're trying to achieve here. We're not set on the wood grain. We don't want to postpone for that. This is something that I think as we get more into details, we will order samples. It'll be a longer process. And I agree with what y'all are saying. Like I feel the same way. That's exactly why I wanted to get those pictures. And so it's not, like I said, it's not to show the grain necessarily. It's more that aging and having that variety in the visual texture. So if you're able to just make the approval be that it is wood panel and not specifically wood patterned, I view that as just the paint on the building. And so that seems like something that even if we were to change it later, in theory, I don't know that this would be in practice, but like if we were to get approval with the wood grain look and then realize that we wanted a solid color, I imagine that because that's a color change, it wouldn't necessarily require coming back to the board potentially.
Just to clarify, and you tell me, but it sounds like you misspoke because you said wood panel. Do you mean metal panel? Okay,
Yeah.
and then the color / texture could change.
Yeah, so our goal would just be have it approved as a metal panel with those proportions and reveal. And then we certainly try to find an alternative way of representing that.
I mean, just from a staff perspective, I just want to be careful that color is important as well. If this came back through permitting and had much like just crazy colors on it, I'd probably not approve it. Okay, so color is important. It is part of the guidelines. It talks about materials that are scale, durability, color, and texture. So color is important. Now, do I think we should be telling them exactly which color every element should be? No. And really think about like storefronts, especially old storefronts that are wood, to paint them. We're not out there a paint police, okay? But these are permanent materials, not painted materials. So color is important to some degree. I wouldn't want it to be approved by the board with one way and then all of a sudden totally flipped in color palettes and whatnot. So if everything stayed in the general scheme, I mean, modified, changed a little bit here or there, but it's still in the general theme, I think that's fine. But if things change too much, I might be like, whoa, and send it back to the board just to confirm everybody's good with what we see, especially on permanent materials like this, something that's not just a painted material.
And I do want to clarify that we typically like metal panel, and that is a better product than some of the other stuff that we see. So I don't think the board generally has a problem approving metal panel. I think we're a little bit hung up on this wood look thing, but I like the suggestion of approving the metal panel, but without the wood look.
Just out of curiosity, what is the gauge of that metal?
Thick.
It's a really good product in terms of.
I'm not worried about the metal panel. It's the printed wood grain on it. Like if that was just brown or a warm color, I'd be like, cool. And then you're going to have, if those are actual 5.5-inch laps with a reveal between them, you're going to get texture with actual shadow lines you're going to get that variability. That zoomed out is going to be monolithic, and zoomed in is going to have that reading of the shadow lines, but it doesn't have to have printed fake wood on it. I think that could be a nice product. So
Yeah. And I think it would patina.
I think the patina on the metal would be fine. Like, this isn't dirty or not. Like, it's going to maybe get a little bit warmer or a little bit darker, but just like the white brick, it's going to be a discussion too.
This may have been said, and not to deviate too far from what we've been talking about, but the door, in this very center, is that wood or is that glass? What's the material? on
That is, glad you asked because I'm excited about it. That is glass with aluminum, and it is a center pivot door. And so you can kind of see that example photo in the bottom where it's an arch door with a pivot point in the middle, and you can go in either side.
It's a beautiful door.
That's great. There is a brown door somewhere on this project, right? On the other side, on the north side? Yeah. Is that just metal?
Yeah, that's not a door. Excuse me. That
Oh,
is-
it's a panel with a light in it. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, there's two thin doors on, well, I say thin, two doors on both ends of the building facing central, but they're recessed back further into the site.
Gotcha. Yeah, I see them now.
Is
Okay.
that door like 12 feet tall? How tall is that?
it is.
Is it? Okay.
Well, if there's not a significant price difference between the wood, the faux wood on the metal and just the metal, the clean look, then I would suggest that we just move forward with what we're comfortable with. If it sounds like you're comfortable with
Yeah.
it, and approve that, and then subject to staff approval afterwards. What do you guys think about that? I'm gonna let you propose it, Cameron, because this is your passion.
Make us a
But I'll
motion.
second it.
I would motion to approve per staff recommendation with an added recommendation that, or added condition that the wood look metal be a non-wood textured, but can be metal with a warm color instead. Pause. Did we decide on the base?
Poured concrete.
And another condition that the base of the building be poured concrete rather than parch-coated CMU block.
I second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
And any opposed? Okay, that carries. Thank you.
Just one quick comment. We just reviewed a project before this that was replacing office with residential, and then we've got a project that's building building office. So the whole, is
Tracy's.
our office, is an office dead? I don't know anymore.
Not on South Central Street. Okay, we're going to move on to infill housing. We're going to say goodbye to Sarah. Thank you, Sarah. And we're still good on quorum. Yes? Okay. Moving on. 910 Crozier Avenue, which is case 5A26IH.
This case is for a one-story house on Crozier Avenue that measures 25 feet wide by 48 feet deep and will be set 20 feet from the front property line. Parking is a driveway from Crozier Avenue that extends 28 feet past the facade. This house features a front gable roof, lap siding, a block foundation, and a full-length front porch. There is a drainage swale on the west side of the property that will likely need to be rerouted into a pipe. The existing mature trees at the rear of the lot that are outside of the building footprint should be retained and indicated on the site plan. The lot is within the hillside protection overlay, and it slopes downward significantly, falling approximately 22 feet from front to back. The foundation is 1.5 feet tall at the facade and approximately 10 feet tall at the rear. The proposed foundation height is appropriate with the slope of the lot and is similar to others on the block, but it should be clad in stucco or brick instead of parge coated to adequately finish the large foundation. The site plan does not include grading details. The plans will need to return to the board if the final grading plan results in major changes to the facade foundation height. The porch will be set on open posts with no screening, and while this does not reflect other houses on the block, it will be minimally visible due to its height and the slope of the front yard. Staff is recommending approval of Certificate 5A26IH, subject to the following conditions. The final site plan to meet city engineering standards and to include existing trees at the rear of the lot that are outside of the building footprint, with minor revisions to be approved by staff. The foundation to be clad in stucco or brick and be built as depicted, with major revisions to return to the board, and retaining the window trim, porch header, and decorative brackets as depicted.
Thank you. Is the applicant present on this one? Can you give us your name and address, please?
You'll have to turn that microphone on, please. There's a little person button.
Alberto Arellano, 704 Walker Spring.
Thank you. Do you have anything to add?
No, just on the finished product on the foundation can be exposed block, or we had to do rapid wooden brick.
The recommendation is to either use brick or stucco, true stucco, not parch coat.
Okay.
I have a question about the topography. The elevations as they're submitted show the slope, which is great. I'm a little bit unclear. Is the finished floor elevation equal to the road or close to equal to the road elevation?
It's going to be a little slope down, just a couple feet down from the road.
Okay. And this is, does it have a full basement or is it a crawl space? Okay.
Crawl space.
Okay.
One observation I had, you're going to have to amend the city ward map to correct the property line issues. It's currently, I'm used to shotgun lots at 25 feet. I've never seen 20-foot lots before, but this is a pair of 20-foot lots currently on the ward map, but it's a matter of submitting a new plat and not a major obstacle.
According to the permit portal, I believe the city's not requiring a new plat for this one.
Giving them that whole hillside is a bit of a mess, so anything we can do to help.
Okay.
Okay. Do we have any other comments?
Just one on the front elevation. The doors and the windows and the column spacing is different on the facade, like they're not symmetrical. Because the door's justified ever so slightly, like a foot to the left, is there any potential to space those columns evenly and have the door centered on that front facade so it's actually has symmetry to it?
We can do that, or we can just go. We can make it work with just 2 columns, one on each end, and just leave it an open front porch.
That's true.
We can eliminate the 2 middle ones, and I think it's gonna make a more clear and nice front porch than.
Sure. Yeah, because I'm sure if you move that door, then you're going to start to adjust what's happening in the floor plan on the inside, like if it shifts over at all.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that might solve it then to eliminate the columns in the middle. Does anybody have any issue with that? Okay. Well, I'd motion to approve per staff recommendation with the added condition to remove the 2 center columns to add symmetry to the front elevation.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that one passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next up, we have 1115 Louisiana Avenue, which is case 5B26IH.
This case is for a 2-story stacked duplex on Louisiana Avenue that measures 25 feet wide by 50.1 feet deep and is proposed to be set 21 feet from the front lot line. Parking is a large concrete pad and driveway at the rear of the lot that is accessed via the alley. The duplex features a front gable roof, an exterior of lap siding with board and batten on the right side of the facade, and a foundation clad in brick veneer. The building features a 5-foot deep, half-length front porch and balcony recessed under the primary roof line. The balcony contains the primary entrance to the upper unit and is accessed via a landing and steps that extend to the rear. There is a recess on the left elevation clad in board and batten siding. The The applicant intends to use the middle housing standards. The recess on the left elevation and the balcony steps on the right elevation are included to fulfill Article 4.6.E.4.B, which requires a vertical break or offset for 20% of an elevation if it exceeds 50 feet in length. The board does not have the authority to issue variances from this standard, but they can request an alternate feature that meets the zoning requirement. The driveway from the alley is not necessary to meet city engineering requirements and could be removed at the preference of the board. The block to receive new construction is characterized by modified Queen Anne cottages and craftsman bungalows with some commercial buildings. The proposed duplex will be the only two-story building on the block, with the exception of a historic commercial building that faces Johnson Street, and measures could be taken to reduce the visual scale. The 912 roof pitch could be reduced. The 6-inch tall foundation at the facade is lower than what is typically approved within the overlay, but it can be appropriate if the intent is to provide an accessible entrance. Although 6x6 porch posts are the minimum size typically approved in the overlay, there's only one post on each story, so larger posts would be more compatible with the overall scale of the facade. The balcony steps do not reflect historic forms and are more similar in appearance to a deck than a porch. The placement of the steps could be revised to extend the landing along the side elevation to avoid covering the windows and place larger massing behind the facade. The board and batten on the facade is used as an accent material, but its use in only half of the gable field does not reflect traditional siding placement in gable fields. Staff is recommending approval of Certificate 5B26IH, subject to the following conditions. The final site plan to meet city engineering standards with minor revisions to be approved by staff, meeting applicable standards of Article 4.6 and 9.3J. The porch and balcony posts to be at least 8x8, and a singular siding material be used in the gable field.
Thank you. Is the applicant present for this one? And can you give us your name and address, please?
There's a button on there.
There you go.
Franco Arcosi at 1327 West Baxter Avenue.
Thank you. Do you have anything to add to Melinda's comments?
No, I mean, I can do everything she said.
Okay, great. Then we'll open it up for conversation.
I feel like the glaring issue is the stairs placement, which staff also mentioned. I think I wouldn't approve this to have the stair go up to the front balcony. I think it makes more sense to push it back and have a side entrance of some sort. Because your stair and the balcony itself, the landing of the stair is almost weirder than just having, like, seeing the edge of the stair, because it aligns with the front of the porch. So are you open to reworking the plan to push the stair back?
When you say push the stair back, what do you mean necessarily, like pushing the stair back? Like,
So moving it back along the facade to, say, where that smaller square window is. Like
are
maybe,
you saying
maybe
like
a door.
extending the landing more
No, like
out that way?
No, like moving the entire staircase.
That's what
back.
I'm saying. For me to do that, I'd have to take that top landing and move it all the way across.
Yes, and adding a door.
And adding a door.
Yeah, so I think what he's saying is that you would, instead of extending the staircase and landing all the way to the front porch, is that you would introduce a new door, a door on the side elevation, and the stairs will go up to that door instead of going all the way to the front porch.
It's like a bedroom, because I've built this one like 4 times already. It's like a bedroom there that it wouldn't allow to kind of have access needed. And that's why kind of when we designed these like this, it kind of made the most efficient sense to have the stairs come on the side, do the parking, and then again, it being so small and we're trying to squeeze everything in, it's like the only kind of possible way to do it to where we can kind of meet some of the guidelines with some other lots that we done built.
What about the backside? Can you flip the staircase to the back and have a small balcony at the back?
No, because it's also a bedroom. Also, I don't know if, are you able to pull up the floor plan?
But if the entire floor plan on the top literally rotated to the back, you wouldn't move your bedrooms, they'd move with it. You just, we've seen every combination of duplex, and I think this is a new one, but I agree the stair is the glaring issue. And you said you've built 4 of these?
Yeah.
Just
maybe
not
6,
not ones that we've had to review?
No, because it's not an infill or anything. It's just been going through middle housing. I mean, I like them. Everybody who comes likes them. It's, park in the back and just walk upstairs to go to your unit, or you can park in the front if you're in the first unit, and you don't even have to go up the stairs. Stairs are only really accessible for the second unit.
So in that bottom right elevation, if you, to respect the floor plan, if you just extended that landing, then you would open up those windows below the stairs so that they're not looking into some stairs. And
Right.
that would help with that unit, and it wouldn't mess up your upper level floor. Realize we're adding a little more landing, but we're not adding any more stairs.
Just give us a second.
I
We'll get the
would
floor
still
plan.
have to add more kind of stairs a little bit if I extended that landing also. I don't know. I think it would just be like a lot of stairs. Like if I extended it to where that window is, I'm still going to be covering some windows going down. Like if I came out that way, then added stairs. Again, me personally, because I've seen the product, because I've built it, it looks way better kind of like this than if I did extend it going out.
If we said we wouldn't approve it, let's talk about that. Let's talk about how we can fix it so that we do want to approve it, so that it can get built.
It'd almost be like a whole new floor plan, essentially, from, having, especially if you guys are saying you want entrance from like the backside and stuff like that, it wouldn't kind of fit.
I have a code question. I've never been allowed to have an exit stair across a window.
That's what I'm saying.
And he's already built these, so are those windows fire protected, wire glass? I mean,
Well, they got to be tempered,
so they're tempered.
but that's a building question. That's
Well, you
Yeah,
could,
that's not design, sorry.
I want to wait to see the floor plan before I make a comment.
Franco, do you have an address of a previously one that you've done? I can send the floor plan to Melinda. Oh, you found it? Thanks.
Well, overall, I mean, I appreciate the design. We don't typically see stacked duplexes. We see them side by side. This is more house scale density, which I appreciate. I think we're really just hung up on the stair, but like overall, the development is fine. I think the comment about making the gable end all one material, I think that'll make it nice. Like it'll be fine. But yeah, I think we're just hung up on that front stair.
Yeah, I think if you kept the bottom floor unit exactly how you have it and just flipped the top floor unit and put that balcony and the kitchen and the living room on the back, then you could still do a bay window in the front in that bedroom. And then you would just have a wall with windows in it on the front facade.
so you're saying like move the bedrooms on the other side?
I would just take the exact same floor plan and just flip it so that the kitchen and the dining room are in the back of the house.
And there's no second-story balcony on the front. That moves to the back.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see,
So the living room balcony view would be the backyard instead of the street.
one other, looking at the plan without changing the plan option I would see would be to move your entrance to where the kitchen is and flip the kitchen over to the dining room side. Then you could come up more in the middle of the other side, like we were talking about trying on the other side. We could back the entrance up to the corner of the kitchen or even the corner of the dining room.
I mean, at that point, I'd rather just make the porch part of the living room and just extend the stairs out and put a door where those windows are.
Yeah, yeah.
Did you draw these?
No, I had somebody. Well, I just bought these online.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not an architect or nothing like that. No.
You a contractor?
Yes.
Great.
You're building needed housing.
Yeah.
Trying to.
Yeah. So in that scenario, are you saying just scoot the staircase back, whatever that is, 8 feet, so that the door would be on the side?
Yeah, and then I would just make the living room, just on that top floor unit, I would just make the living room bigger.
A little bit
essentially.
bigger, yeah, and get rid of
Instead
the
of
balcony.
flipping it, because then that's a whole different ordeal
That'll-
with load zonings and, not load zonings, but, load-bearing walls and all that.
Alignments and
Yeah,
everything.
all the
Yeah.
time.
I think that'll look better because that upper floor with it actually all coplanar and then just the nested entry at the bottom, that'll look really nice, I think. I think that's a better
Yeah.
product. I think to not delay his work and to keep it moving with like legs on it, and we're able to like make sure it's okay, I think we could approve, but then he'd have to submit to staff to
Just to make sure that
for
it
final
worked out.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing would be like what kind of window, like what the windows look like, in the new pushed out
That's a good
facade
point.
and stuff. But
Yeah.
So let's go back to the facade real quick and just talk about it so you have clear direction. Can we go to the front facade picture, please?
We're trying to anticipate a motion.
Uh-huh. Yeah. I mean, I think as long as it's double windows that have the edges aligned with the edges of the doors and window below.
I got a
then that
question.
Makes sense.
What if I just remove the window? Because I don't need a window on that side.
Well, I think that's too blank. Plus, it's nice to have a window in the living room.
And if it's money wise, I mean, you're removing one window, or you're only adding one window total and moving a door. So I think in aggregate, it's one window added to the project.
Well, he's getting rid of the window on the side to make room for the door.
Okay, well,
So
then
it's
he's
just
moving.
moving it.
It is. He's just moving it. So
We're just switching a window.
we're not
for a door.
adding extra fenestration to it
Yeah.
or anything.
I would just make that overall framed opening the same width as the door and window below, where the front door is on the lower unit, and make that line up. And then that's all there is to it, I think.
I mean, yeah, I can make the front door, since it'll be it'll be the new window essentially on the second floor, because I would just line it up with the same, the deck essentially, and just push everything out and just make a bigger living room and put the door where the window is on the side.
Mm-hmm. And then move those windows to the front.
Yeah, well,
You have windows on the side right now that go into the living room.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So put those on the front upstairs and put the door on the side.
Yeah, I can do like pretty much I can do two windows at the top, because they're all 3.0s anyways. It's a 3.0 door and then a 3.0 window, so it'll just be two 3.0 windows at the top, and then the bottom will be how it is.
Mm-hmm.
Or another idea is, if it's the window that's the concern, what if I push the deck out more so it's a gap between the window and it's like, like let's say 2 or 3 feet, and it's not blocking the window, like you can still access, if you wanted to climb out the window, you can climb out. It's not abutting the window.
Yeah, I think the point is to get the staircase off of the front elevation and push it back onto the side. So wherever you want to locate that entry door on the second unit, on the upstairs unit, along that side elevation, to get the staircase to miss the window, that would be good.
So the issue is the door being in the front on the second floor.
No, it's the stair.
The stair. I can't point to it
Yeah, I-
because I'm too short, but if you look at the part of the staircase and the landing that sticks out from the far right side of the house, that we think doesn't look right. And so we want that to go back farther on that far right wall so that it's not in the same line as the balcony
It would.
edge.
I think it would still be in the same line of the balcony edge, even if I extended it. If you get what I'm saying.
No.
Yeah, we're not talking about extending it. We're talking about making the front balcony stop at the edge of the building and just the landing and the staircase scoot back on that wall.
Yeah, back to the idea you had brought up about taking these two windows that are on the side, moving them to the front, eliminating the second floor balcony, and then putting your entry door on the right hand of the double window and moving your landing and taking the stair to the back from there. I think
Oh, okay. I think I get what you're saying.
I think
So you're
that's
pretty
the
much okay.
simplest solution.
You kind of worded it a little bit better. You're saying remove the whole deck completely and just put a new landing where, let's say, if you look at that double window, right? On that second window is a door, and a new landing starts there, going
Yes.
back. Okay, that was worded a little bit better.
If that would work, I would support a motion in that direction.
I've drafted a motion, or sorry, not a motion, I've drafted a condition.
Okay.
That I could read for the board.
That's
So this would be,
And while you guys are listening to Melinda, looking through this, hopefully at the end of it, somebody can just say, adding number 5 as stated by Melinda, so moved. So that's hopefully the goal here.
Letter word as per reviewal by staff.
Well, right, that's included. Yeah, Melinda's got a brilliant condition for you.
so this would be condition 5, making the second-story facade coplanar and relocating the second-story primary entrance and steps to the location of the first window grouping on the second story, and adding a window in the location of the existing entrance, to be approved by staff per the board's intent.
I like it.
I'd like to make a motion to approve per staff recommendation, including the added condition of Melinda Woolert. Number 5.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
I got one last question. Is this going to affect anything with middle housing, me pushing it up?
It should not. You still have a porch on the front and you still have the bay window.
Okay.
And the transparency calculation should also be
The same.
increased, not decreased.
Perfect. That's all I wanted to know.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Great
I'll
work,
follow
planning
up with
team.
you.
All right, we're going to move on. The next project is 2703 Pershing Street, which is 5C 26IH. And Tony has recused himself for this project.
This case is for a new 2-story townhouse on Pershing Street that measures 53 feet wide by 54 feet and 8 inches deep and is proposed to be set 24 feet from the front lot line. Parking is a pad with 6 spaces at the rear of the lot that is accessed via the alley. The townhouse with 3 staggered units will feature a front gable roof for each unit, an exterior of fiber cement lap siding with alternating exposure patterns and brick as an accent on the first story, and a brick foundation with piers on the rear elevation. Each unit features an 8-foot deep front porch with a low-pitch front gable roof that is supported by 1-foot 4-inch square brick posts, with the left and right unit featuring half-length porches and the center unit featuring a full-length porch with additional gable detailing. Site plan revisions may be necessary to meet Article 12. The applicant intends to use the middle housing standards. The block is characterized by 1.5-story Queen Anne cottages and a 2-story American Foursquare. While the townhouse is necessarily wider than the other houses on the block, the units are similar in scale to nearby single-family houses. The large massing is sufficiently broken up on all elevations and benefits from the staggered units. While the design has some modern elements on the front porches, the brick and wider porch posts align with historic context. The building predominantly features single light tilt and turn windows interspersed with sliding and fixed windows, which are not similar to windows on the original or historic houses on the block, as recommended by the guidelines. Single light casement and fixed windows have been approved on some multifamily projects in the overlay, with a more modern design that are located near commercial areas as opposed to traditional neighborhood blocks. The windows on the front elevation should be revised to single hung or double hung operation to align with the context. Some other visualizations here for y'all. Staff is recommending approval of Certificate 5C 26IH subject to the following conditions. The final site plan to meet city engineering standards in Article 12 with minor revisions to be approved by staff, meeting applicable standards of Article 4.3 and 9.3I, and the windows on the front elevation be revised to single hung or double hung operation.
Thank you. Name and address, please.
Okay. Logan Higgins, 133 South K Street, here on behalf of the applicant. We agree with everything else about staff recommendation except point number 3. We would like to maintain the tilt and turn, or at least casement windows on all facades.
Do you know of any precedent for that in the neighborhood or anywhere nearby?
Yes, I can point to some houses on Oswald that used similar proportions and same windows.
Did you develop those houses?
I did, yes. And so, yeah, those, and the goal here, it's a busy street, it's a busy corner. It's actually a very wide right-of-way right there, and cars go pretty fast. But Then you also have the railroad tracks. These windows seal a little bit better. They're really good soundproof and insulation quality. And we feel like we're still meeting the intent of the guidelines with the form and massing and other ways that we're carrying those patterns, but trying to be unique and more of the time with the materials and details.
I live really close to this, and I walk past it often, and I've seen that lot for a while now. I'm fine with I'd rather have casement windows, even just for the energy efficiency and the glass. It's not too starkly, it's not like unsettling when you see that amongst the context, especially with like a gable project, like overall. I'm more interested and maybe concerned about how the top of the brick is going to be resolved on the angled parts. I just worked on a project where we were doing something similar, and it takes a lot of thought. So that thin roof line over your front kind of protrusion's potentially going to get a lot thicker with a drip edge or some sort of fascia board. And I just think that it's less of a denial type comment and more of it's going to be difficult to work out. There'll be some thought given to that. Because when they have to either cut all those bricks or they're going to stair step them up and then overlay it with something, it's either going to protrude out or protrude in. So also the upper windows proportionally just look a little squatty. So there's something about those centered windows really, really tight, and the proportion on the left and right looks really fat. So I'd propose that either those become a little bit wider or it becomes two separate windows that are separated slightly. It just seemed a little, and this is nitpicky because I think the project's fine. I think it's good. I like the masonry. I like the way you're kind of doing the hungry hippo of the fiber cement over the brick, and it's got the little saddle of the brick under it. I think that's a nice way to kind of put those two together. But yeah, I think those windows could be rethought at the top, and then the detailing of the masonry is really my bigger comments.
Are you referring to on the side elevation windows?
No, the ones right here.
Oh, okay.
Those, like when you look at it in pure elevation, like in relation, like those 6 windows overall in relation to the facade, they look really tiny compared to the proportions of everything you're doing on the lower level, which is really kind of spaced correctly and proportional. They seem really, they just seem really tight.
We do have room there to raise the head height of those a little bit.
It's less the height, it's more the width. I think that personally, I'm concerned with. I think it could be better with a little bit more width.
Oh, I see what you mean. I thought you said squatty, but
I meant squatty this way. It needs to get fatter.
To put a whole third window?
Even a whole third window.
Yeah.
If there was room.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like on the floor plan there might be a closet on that left, or on kind of butting up against where that edge is. So I don't know how much there could be added.
Well, even asymmetry in those window groupings could be okay with them all justified to the right. It might be okay with the fact that you've got the 3-part.
Yeah.
But anyway, again, comment is that the window proportions at the upper seem a bit off.
I wouldn't go for 3 though.
Yeah.
I'm with you. I'm making it bigger. 3's too many.
If the closet.
Did I see fiber cement on this project?
Mm-hmm. It's infill. Today it's okay.
No. We've talked about this before. The standard's vinyl.
Yeah.
When we get a project that gets fiber cement, that's an upgrade. At least that's my opinion.
On infill.
On infill housing.
Yes. Agree. I have a question / concern about a 2 and 12 slope on a asphalt shingle roof. Is that, what is that?
There are specific products that underlayments that we've used before that are able to handle that, are rated for that. I agree, because when we've had that in the past, it always seems very strange to me, but they're specialty products.
Somebody can do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
The project on, in Happy Holler across from Wild Love, but they did TPO between them because it couldn't handle the low slope. So in
it's like
between
the
those,
whole thing is ice and water shield.
So
sorta.
it's like, the asymmetrical, gables, the duplexes, they put the white TPO in between all of the black asphalt shingles, so it kind of doesn't look that great. So between the
In
gables.
the gap between the
in the gap
gables.
to pitch the water out
So
to either
not
end.
the assembly sandwich,
No,
but
in-
the actual.
In the valley.
Valley,
They
gotcha.
pitched it out to
Okay.
the outside to get to those, exactly where it's being circled. And
I see. Oh, I see. Okay.
I've never heard of 212 being achievable with, or you have to like go at it at risk. I feel like, I know metal panel can do that, but you're right, Logan, it's all about the underlayment, and I think a risk assumed. If it's not 212, it's gonna get a lot taller.
Well, I don't want to change the whole design. I think it's tidy and nice. I wondered, though, if you would consider making that lower brick portion like a little parapet condition and not have gable across the front, but make it more like a little foursquare where it has flat across the front. Then you don't have angled brick and you don't have a low slope gable. And then it could be like EPDM or TPO up there just for that little bit.
Would you go to the slide that shows the adjacent houses? Yeah. And so are you okay with like there being a flat plane in that line, even though the adjacent houses have?
I personally am. I'm
slopes?
thinking of a house in the fort that I think is on the east side of Clinch, like near the little primary school. And it has a similar condition to what I'm talking about. And it's intermingled with all kinds of other historic buildings. And so I think to solve that problem, that might be a good solution for this one.
I realize now that we were talking about two different 212 roofs. So you were talking about the entries. I was talking about the
Oh, the
upper,
betweens, the crickets.
between and the crickets
Yeah.
in the valleys. Yeah, so is that to be asphalt as well, or is that the TPO condition, Logan?
The plan there is to do the asphalt as well. Again, there's going to be, a lot of underlayment happening there. But, if TPO is an option, but I think with this being in the, in infill, it doesn't really make
No,
sense to do
I
that.
prefer it to be black. It's just that like if it does end up having to go to TPO, it'll have to come back because that's going to look starkly different, I think, than the black that it'll be visible from the road for sure. It's like another facade.
Yeah, and I should have said EPDM, not something that would be black, but we're not proposing that or anything like that.
If it did even go to EPDM, I think it'd have to be a discussion because that's
still visible.
That'll look
Yeah.
that'll get dirty and different
And weird, yeah.
Well, yeah.
I think it would be fine to have shingle there if the product you're specifying works and can be warranted and it's not just going to rot away in 5 years.
Yeah, we have a low slope over the kitchen at Sims Road there, and the way they handled that was with a self-healing membrane and basically ice dam underlayment, and then the regular dimensional shingles on top. And so far, it's held up all the 4 years it's been there, but it's
Been
doing
more
good.
than 4, has it been 4 years?
4 or 5 years, and we got skylights through it too, and it hasn't leaked so far,
It will never.
Really
leak.
playing with fire.
No, the ones I was talking about are the entry gables, the little ones. The other comment I have there, and it's not really in the design purview, but the little column on the far left and far right, and then the gaps in the middle that has just the column right in the middle, I feel like are going to be the favorite spot for all nest builders. I think you're going to have some really cute little bluebirds in there, always. So I'm not sure, just from like a long-term maintenance standpoint, that that's the wisest choice, but that's
to your advice earlier, your offering of the brick and the maybe being flat, it does seem like there's kind of worlds colliding there. It's like you're trying to resolve two languages and it's not resolved yet. Like how they touch, how do you go from the fact that there is a post on top of the brick, like is a bit odd. I think what is this in design development right now? I feel like you guys need like another couple days of sketching through how those porches are resolved from itself up to the gable at the entries before it's really there.
The intent is to kind of have that language of the two on the ends having a more solid element that's on the inside and then open on the ends. And then for the middle one, having it fully open and just structurally on the side ones, we can rest on the wall there.
Yeah.
But in that middle one, we don't have a wall. So that's why we have that gable situation happening. We could, if the horizontal element there is kind of throwing it off, we could look at like a structural cable or something that ties those together instead of a horizontal beam. But that seemed like a better way of going about it. But then didn't want to do a beam on the sides because with the low pitch, you just end up with this little tiny gap. But, would you want to, okay, never mind, you're doing it.
That's not the one I'm thinking of, but it's in the area. The one I'm thinking of, I'm pretty sure is on White Avenue. No, it's on White. I'm pretty sure it's on White.
Behind this one on what?
Near there. Yeah, it's near the UT Early Learning Center.
It has a flat roof for the.
No. The one I'm thinking of has a hip roof. I'm trying to click on it right now. It's on the corner of 12th and White. I think that's the one I'm thinking of. That doesn't have a parapet either, but, and I'm not exactly sure that's the one, but. I think there's some precedent to, if you're doing a brick base with brick columns, that the roof can appear flat.
What are your thoughts on
entry.
this approach to it?
It's just a totally different thing than
Yeah,
I
we'd
was
have to
thinking.
review
I
it
don't
again.
know.
If we came back with, if you changed it, we'd have to review it again.
Yeah.
I think. I think it's promising overall, but I do think that that front porch is not done yet.
Mm-hmm.
But we need to give you actual feedback to be able to iterate it more if we were to postpone it for any reason. I think conceptually the masonry at the front with a gable is acceptable. I think that it's really on you and the contractor and the construction of it that's executed well, but that's the point that we won't see the project until it's built. So that's the only hesitancy I have on approving it outright. There's no overhang on those gables at the front entries?
Correct. Yeah, upstairs there is, or
No,
on the
lower
main roof,
entries.
but not on the porches.
Yeah, I think there's got to be one more pass at the entries at the front. There's something off about them. I don't know. I
agree.
I need to think about it.
I will say I like the brick detail underneath the window on the front, and then it's kind of the thought behind some of the brick with the column to the left and the right. I like that part.
I was going to mention that too. I like that. The soldier course under the window is really nice.
I feel like we don't see details like that included on projects very often, so it's nice to see just a little bit of additional character.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Logan, do you know if will the material will the siding all be the same color where there's siding, or will it be broken up at all, or do you know the intention there?
I believe the intention is to have the same color, but because of the way that the units are physically broken up, it'd be very easy to paint them different colors. But yeah,
I personally don't know I don't think that they necessarily have to be different colors. I was just mostly curious. Others might feel differently.
I like how the volumes on the entries are mirrored and flipped, and then there's a central. I think that's enough differentiation. Personally, I like that.
I just, like in this image here on the left unit, on the right side of that brick, you can see where it's modeled, the fascia stops before the brick ends, which makes me like think this isn't fully fleshed out yet. And it won't be built like that. It won't be built where the gutter's sitting on the beam on the one to the right of it. And I think it's going to come out just a little bit, but I even think when it does that on the overhang on the front and the sides, it would still look good. But it's just like that's the kind of detailing that I'm worried that when it gets built, if it's not figured out now, it's going to be bad. Like someone's going to just make it up in the field. So I would be okay to approve these to move forward. It's just that that's the charge, is that it has to be built correctly. And I don't know that that's
Well,
a little
and whatever
unnerving.
correctly means, I think, what that fascia is made out of, what the drip edge flashing looks like, how far the sheathing comes out over the fascia, all of that really matters because this is such a tight little design that if those don't get done just right, there's nowhere to hide. So I feel like that's putting a lot of trust in whomever comes along to put that together.
Well, we could postpone it and say that that's the one thing we want more information on.
Yeah, I think that's the right choice.
Okay.
and that's specifically the details and how those materials are interacting.
Yes, transition details of essentially if you zoomed in on each three of those entry porches and the perimeter fascia and the intersection with the beams and the brick, we'd just understand how that's really going to flesh out.
Yeah.
That I think could sell us on it. We'd understand it better. Is that agreed?
Maybe the windows. I agree with you, the windows.
And potentially study the window proportions at the top, the upper floor. So yeah, I'll make a motion to postpone with per staff recommendations with added condition for the applicant to study the entry detailing of the transition of materials as well as the upper floor front facade window elevation.
And
I think you'll have to add 30 days in there.
And with 30 days postponement.
I can second that.
Were you trying to say something?
I was just going to clarify the shape gable, like the front facing gable, low pitch. We're okay with that.
Sure.
Not necessarily like, okay.
It's just how it ends, how it comes out to the edges, what we're trying to figure out.
I think for me, it's just having a level of confidence that what we're looking at is achievable and that we know what we're actually approving because we don't want to guess or get a surprise in the field.
Just to clarify, you said per staff recommendation, which includes the revision to the operation type of the windows on the front elevation. Do you want them to revise those to single hung or double hung, which is the recommendation, or casement, or?
My personal opinion is that I agree that it was a number 3. I'm fine with it being the casement window. I think this would come back for board review, not just staff, not staff. I'm sorry, you weren't asking for staff review. You were asking about the recommendation. Yes, the number 3 I would strike.
And so it's site plan,
Applicable
applicable
standards.
standards for those 2 clauses, and then the windows changing. So we're striking number 3, the windows changing.
Right, and adding new 3 to be the porch detailing, the front porch detailing.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's helpful, it's helpful to the applicant to
trying to
know
give-
if you're not, if you don't think they need to do the number 3 as written.
Just want to give them feedback in the revision process,
Yeah.
correct?
Okay.
Gotcha. So our actual
Too gung ho.
recommendation is to postpone for 30 days. All the rest of this is just discussion to help you for the next.
That is me trying to make sure we're not just postponing it aimlessly.
Yes.
No, yeah, basically workshop and postponement.
Yep.
Yeah.
Great. That.
I second that.
So did you too?
Oh, no, he seconded it first.
Okay. So we have a motion. Was that clear enough for staff? Okay. And a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that one postponed for 30 days. Thank you.
Thank you.
And that is the end of our written agenda, but you can't leave yet because June is my last meeting and we need to make nominations for whomever is going to sit up here next.
You're still on the board though, right?
No,
And
I got my letter. I'm out.
It'll be Laura's last meeting as well, right?
Yes.
Yes, but I do not need to be replaced. Well, yes.
You could never be replaced. But we do need some nominations.
And I will say, nominations doesn't mean that next month you can't also nominate somebody else and add it to that potential for chair or vice chair.
I'm going to nominate Jared for chair. I think it'll be a good succession.
And so we'll be getting new people then, right?
Well, I was going to ask, do we know who is going to sit in Laura's seat?
I don't remember their names.
Okay.
Susan
I was going to say, I know the people. Can I say their names?
I mean, it's on the city council agenda.
So, Megan Hatcher or Megan Rhodes now, and then Taylor Thompson, I believe.
That sounds right.
Yep. Which I will say they both did attend this evening for a brief period of time.
Megan's with Hatcher Hill, right?
Yes. Yeah. She
Who's the other one?
Taylor Thompson. She is with she's a downtown resident. She lives close to me in the old city, but she's with
Wallace. Or
is CV.
George Brown.
They're the one.
Her real estate.
Yeah, she's the one that did, or she helped with the Truist building deal, whatever firm that was. Yeah.
George Brown's firm.
Got it. Cool.
And they're both on the Knox Heritage Vintage Properties Committee too, for what it's worth.
Well, that's a good addition.
Okay, are there any other nominations for chair?
Well, I haven't talked to her about this yet, but I want to nominate Sarah for either chair or vice chair.
Oh, she's not here?
No. Well, she left.
It's the best time to do it.
Yeah.
I think that's fine. And I know I talk a lot, but I've never had the desire to be chair or vice chair because I'd rather talk more and not have to make sure the meeting gets managed correctly.
I like the volleying of discussion between the chair and Cameron. So that's my, that I want to preserve that.
Does it? I would also be interested in nominating Sarah for vice chair. I don't know if it matters multiple nominations or not, but I would nominate Sarah for vice chair.
Sarah, what do you think? Oh, well, sounds good. Sounds good.
Well, and just to make a little plug for Sarah, and she's a very knowledgeable and comfortable speaking in front of people, and I think knowledgeable both of the city generally, but then the specifics of neighborhoods and architectural detailing and such. So I think she'd be a good.
I like having a non-architect be the chair, to be candid, because he's less likely to recuse himself from anything, and he's also like an unbiased kind of outside opinion and can navigate those discussions, because I think architects add the most to this board. So
yeah, and I think Jared is very good about doing the homework first and knowing
he's prepared,
knowing the place and knowing the conditions.
Very prepared.
Yeah. So
okay,
is that enough for y'all to go on?
That's enough.
Okay, we're adjourned. Thanks, everybody.